Hey everyone, and welcome to Mondays with Madison. This week I am joined by another very special guest, one of my good friends, Jhenna Gabriel. So for this week's episode, Jhenna is going to tell us about her volleyball career in her early life and here at Texas and everything in between, so make sure you keep watching. Alright Jhenna, so let's jump right into the interview. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Alright, hi, I'm Jhenna Gabriel. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii, and I'm a junior setter here at Texas.
And did you play any other sports growing up?
Yes, growing up, I played a lot of sports, but mainly I focused on basketball and volleyball, and then ultimately I gave up basketball to focus on volleyball full time.
And what was the draw to volleyball? Why did you ultimately stick with that sport?
I was actually awful at volleyball, so bad. And then one day I sat down with my dad and I was like, I think I just want to play volleyball. And I think he's definitely very concerned. But I guess it ended up working out pretty well.
Definitely worked out for the best. So we will go into your early life career. So you said you grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii. So tell us about the island life and how it was growing up in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's definitely very different from life here in Texas, I think. And a lot of people joke around with me and ask me if I need a passport to get home. I'm like, no, we're definitely a state here.
Still in the U.S.
Exactly. But I would say that sometimes it does feel like a completely different country. I think that the lifestyles are just so different. And in Hawaii, it's very laid back and everybody's always chilling out. And I absolutely loved it. I wouldn't give it up for the world. So
seems like an amazing place to grow up for sure. And you were a part of Rainbow Volleyball Club. So do you have a favorite memory from the club or favorite coach?
Yeah, so my sister played for Rainbow Volleyball Club first, so I was always at her practices and watching her play, and we ended up being coached under the same coach. His name is Luis. He's from Dominican Republic, and he's absolutely crazy. Loved playing for him, and I've known him more than half of my life now, so he's a big part of my family and my life, and he's honestly the best.
Grew up around the game. You went to Maryknoll High School, and you actually broke records at your high school with being the career leader in assists and digs. So what was it like playing at Maryknoll, whether that's from breaking the records or just with your teammates?
Yeah, I loved it at Maryknoll. It was definitely one of the best decisions to go there for me. My club coach was also my coach at Maryknoll, so
oh wow.
Yeah, he was everywhere, and it was just so fun and definitely a great experience. I think club volleyball and school volleyball are so different. And, like, all your friends get to come watch you play and stuff. Like, it was so fun. I loved it there so much.
That's awesome. And then you, being an out-of-stater, get the question, why Texas? Especially being from somewhere so far away as Hawaii. So why ultimately did you pick Texas?
Yeah, so my recruiting process happened really fast here, and Jared called me one day and was like, hey, we want to get you out here for a visit. And I was like the Texas, Texas Longhorns. My coach was like, yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
I was like, okay. And me and my dad booked a flight out in the next 2 days, and we came out here, and it was honestly just like a no-brainer. You come in here and you see all the facilities and you meet all the coaches and all the people, and it's just like, where else would you want to go?
Right.
You know?
And y'all's facilities are definitely amazing.
Yeah,
so
definitely
picked a great place. So now, transitioning into your Texas career, you came in and were getting in games as a freshman. So how was your freshman season here at Texas?
Yeah, it was really different. I actually came in as a DS setter. And I had never played a single game as a libero or a defensive specialist growing up. And so I came in and I was learning a completely new position, and it was really hard because I was like, how am I going to come in here and compete against girls who've been doing this their whole lives and at one of the best schools in the country? So it was really weird, and I was the first one in the gym training with the DSs, and then the last one out training with the setters, and it was really stressful. And then halfway, maybe 2/3 into my freshman season, I finally got to play and I got to set, and from there on it was smooth sailing, and I'm not a defensive specialist anymore, which is the best part of all of it.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about what being a defensive specialist is for those who don't know much about volleyball.
Yeah, so a defensive specialist or a libero, they're the ones that wear a different colored jersey on the court, and they're just strictly back row, and usually they're very short, and I'm very short for my position, so it definitely made sense that our coach kind of wanted to transition me into that position a little bit. So yeah, they just sub in for the taller hitters once they're in the back row, because they pass, they dig, they serve really well, and that's their job.
Awesome. And then you, being here at Texas, you have broken your assist record every single year since you've been here. So your freshman year, you had 53 assists, sophomore 54, and now junior year, you've had 55. So what is it like in the off season for you to continue to get better and know that you're breaking these records?
Yeah, it's definitely a grind. It's not easy, and it's a lot of early mornings, a lot of weight training, a lot of practice, and all of that. But our coaches are really good just about really looking back on like what you've done and how you've progressed, and then like from there on like what you need to do to get like just that 1% better. And I definitely think it shows, like especially in my class, like every single one of us has gotten so much better progressively over like the past 3 years. So it's definitely really cool to see.
Yeah, your class is definitely a power class for sure.
I agree.
And you guys actually just won your third Big 12 conference championship. You secured that win over West Virginia. So what was that feeling like on the court, especially when you knew what was at stake? Yeah,
it's definitely weird this year, especially just because like every single game we go into, it's just not the same. Like we're not playing in Greg anymore, and there's definitely less than half the fans that we're used to being like able to play in front of. And so in a way, like we were kind of scared it was gonna be like anticlimactic, and it was like, oh, okay, we won, like what now? But it was so fun, and just to know that like we were able to do that, and especially go undefeated in a time like this where we're just working our hardest to like stay healthy and limit ourselves from like seeing other people. Like it was such a stressful season, and so to like finish it on such a high note was honestly the greatest feeling.
And definitely rewarding, because the bubble is very small when you're just with your team for so long. But another question was about how you transferred from Gregory Gym to Frank Erwin Center. What was that transition like for your team, and how was the atmosphere different?
Yeah, when we first found out about it, we were not happy
whatsoever.
Like Greg is home, and it's so fun. That atmosphere is just ridiculous, and we knew that, like we knew the reasons why they wanted to move us to the Erwin Center. And like, I mean, if that's what we had to do to have fans and to be able to play in front of our families and stuff, like we're willing to make the sacrifice. And honestly, it wasn't as bad as we thought it would be. Like
smoother than you thought.
It was definitely a weird transition. Like going to play in such a bigger arena, like your depth perception is so different, and the noise level is weird because like you can yell and like the sound doesn't go anywhere because it's so big. But we still got a decent amount of fans, I think, and the atmosphere was still pretty cool, and it worked out.
Yes,
we won there. So.
And then also, speaking of 2 games in your season, so you came back from being down against Baylor and K-State, from being down 2 sets. So what was the team's energy like in those games? Was there a certain flip of the switch moment that you guys talked about? What was that like?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially compared to last year, if you were to go look at your records, like we were losing 5-set matches. Like it was really hard for us to like come out with a win. Especially like being down 2-0 in 2 5-set matches and being able to come back out of that. Like it was such a rewarding feeling to like know that we were good enough to like kind of like dig down and like find that within yourself to like just go out there and find a way to win, especially against Baylor. Like that's like
big game.
Exactly, that's the one game like we really look forward to that game, and it was awesome that they were really exciting games, and even better that we won.
Yes, for sure.
It would have been fun if we were to drop one of them or whatever. But yeah, it was definitely really cool to see that we were able to respond like that and come out with a win.
And respond so well. With your NCAAs being pushed to the spring now and having another half of your season, right? It's definitely been a grind, like us too. That's happening to our season. So what are you most looking forward to with the second half of season coming?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to like be able to play again and to actually go out and like be able to play outside of our conference, because when you look back at it, like our favorite games are the games that we play outside of conference, and being able to play against other Power 5 conferences and everything.
Totally.
And it's definitely weird not knowing like what it's going to look like. We still don't have any information on it, and like with COVID spiking again, like it's definitely kind of scary. Like you're going
just the
home.
Unknown.
Exactly, you're going home and you're training, and it's kind of scary to know like what if I'm training for everything to be canceled, like over with. But it's definitely exciting because we really didn't know if we were going to be able to like play for a national championship this year, and that's a whole year that you're just like, where we're doing this for, kind of. But it's definitely exciting to know that it's coming up.
Especially you guys being ranked number 1, you get to go in there and have a real shot at winning it.
Exactly.
So it's exciting that you get to have those. So do you have any goals for yourself or your team at Texas or beyond Texas with your volleyball career?
Yeah, definitely here. We just really want to run. We really want to win the Natty. we know we have the players to do it, and that's like the most exciting part, and also the most stressful part, because if you know that you're good enough to win it all, like you have those expectations exactly, and you expect to win. And then after that, like I'll take my 5th year, I'll transfer, I'll go play beach somewhere, and it's always been like a dream of mine to go play beach professionally. So hopefully that works out, because that would be really exciting.
Would be amazing. Yeah. So now we will transition into our person behind the athlete segment and learn a little bit more about Jhenna off the court. So music is very important to you. You are a singer.
Yes.
So tell us about that and how much music means to you.
Yeah, my mom is just like, she's an amazing singer. And so like growing up around the house, like we're constantly listening to music and everything. And it's definitely an outlet, especially since I've gone to Texas, like, because you just get into this like routine where like all you're doing is like practicing, training, doing homework, going to sleep, waking up, doing the same exact thing.
Cycle, for sure.
Exactly. And like you kind of go into these lulls where you get so tired of it and so draining, and like all you just feel like you're just an athlete, and like that's all you're here to do and stuff. And so it's definitely kind of like become a little outlet for me to like get away from volleyball.
Yeah,
and
you
like
get an escape.
Exactly. And like remember, like I'm not just an athlete, and like I like doing other things and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely huge to me.
That's awesome. And then your family is also very important to you, a common theme that we see on Mondays with Madison. So tell us about them.
Oh my gosh. I love my family. Yeah, so my mom and dad are the absolute best. Like they'll do anything and everything for us. And I have a younger brother, and he's 18. He's a freshman at Missouri Southern State. And so this year has been so weird, like seeing him actually grow up and like go to college. I was like, ew, like you're my baby. No, like literally, like you're never supposed to leave home. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't go to college. What are you doing? And then my older sister, she's 27. She lives in Seattle, and she's killing it up there. She's a biomedical engineer, and like
genius,
wicked smart, like ridiculous, an absolute genius. And she's just doing so great there, and we're actually all getting to go home for Christmas.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, so we'll all be together, and it's been weird because I only got to see my parents for the first time in 5 months when they came to the Baylor match, and so it's been weird not being able to see everybody. So yeah, it's so exciting.
I love that. Well, Jhenna, thank you so much for being on Mondays with Madison. I have seriously loved having you. I hope you all loved learning more about Jhenna, her volleyball career, and off the court as well. So please like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel for more videos every single Monday, because we got some good content coming up for the rest of 2020. So with that all being said, until next Monday, see you later, sports fans.
That was good though.
That was so good.
It is high in here.
I
For
know.
no reason. Okay.